Mike, I've had a lot of time out here in Los Angeles, beautiful Los Angeles.
It's only Wednesday.
To think. I had a lot of thinking time. I don't know if you've had a lot of time to think, too.
I haven't.
You haven't?
No.
Well, I just know.
I usually hurt myself when I do that.
But I'm thinking, like, what am I usually doing right now? It's something with, like, the dogs. We got 3 dogs. 3 dogs,
all pugs,
Mike.
right?
All pugs.
Yeah.
3 dogs. We got 3 kids. There's always, I'm usually driving somewhere or waiting to, trying to figure out some pickup time, encouraging some kid on homework or studying or whatever it is. So that hasn't happened this week as much. Happens on FaceTime, but not in person. So I had a lot of time to think, and I'm like, why do the Cincinnati Bengals remind me of somebody? You ever meet somebody that's like, you remind me of somebody.
Have we met
before?
Yeah.
Who's your mama?
Yeah.
Like, where you grew up? Okay.
You sure we haven't met?
Yeah, you sure? We might be cousins.
You got that look about you.
Yeah. So I remember being with you in New Orleans in February of 2002. And this is it, but it wasn't even February yet. It was January, before the game, January of 2002, late January. We're walking around. We're at a hotel in New Orleans, and we're at the Rams, the St. Louis Rams.
Yeah.
Media availability.
They were in the Super Bowl for the second time in 3 years.
Second time in 3 years. They're talking about a dynasty, and this is going to be something. They got Marshall Faulk. They got Kurt Warner. They got Torrey Big Game Holt. They got Isaac Bruce. I mean, they got it. They're loaded.
Yep.
Number 3 defense, number 1 offense. Lovie Smith, D coordinator. Mike Martz got everything. And I said, Mike, I think the Patriots.
We looked at each other.
I said,
we looked at each other. We could, just by the way they were talking, it was like.
And I don't think the Rams, see, what the analogy doesn't work all the way through, because the LA Rams aren't saying anything disrespectful. They're not. They don't feel like they're entitled to win. But the construction of the Bengals reminds me of the construction of the Patriots, in that there are a lot of mid-level free agent signings on that 2001 team that people looked at and said, okay, I mean, nice player, but what are they going to do? That was a year, I think they signed 18 free agents. Among them, Antoine Smith was their running back. Mike Vrabel, they picked him up at linebacker. Larry Izzo on special teams. They were going all the way through. And they had a great rookie, Richard Seymour. Not the 5th overall pick, but the 6th overall pick.
Yeah, Hall of Fame finalist.
So they had a lot of things. And in retrospect, we look back and say, well, of course, they had Tom Brady, they had Teddy Bruschi, Willie McGinnis, all these guys. Of course they had talent, but it wasn't viewed that way now. And I just wonder if we're going too far with the Rams. Oh, look at these guys.
We who?
Not you.
Okay.
I wonder if some, because you've been on both teams, you got it. The Rams are viewed as the more talented team, and the Bengals, wow, what a great story.
It does have that feel to it.
I don't know if it's that.
This isn't David and Goliath.
I don't know if it's that. I think, and I've been guilty. Look, I've been guilty. I have dismissed.
You've really come all the way to the other side of the Bengals,
I've dismissed the organization.
Right. Not the players. Not the players.
And the city to a degree.
Yeah, and not the players.
But not the players.
Not since the preseason.
Not the players.
Yeah, not since the preseason.
And I'm thinking, look, watch out. And also, watch out if you're the AFC. Watch out. Don't let Cincinnati win it. It's not like the NBA where champions become hoarders, like individual, like the best player. It's like, oh, I ain't leaving with 1. I'm coming out of here with 4 of them.
Yeah.
You know that.
Yeah.
The NFL's a little different, with the exception of Tom Brady. You just don't win and say, oh, we're going to run it back, and I'm going to get like 4 and 6 years.
Ask Kansas City. No guarantee.
But think about this. They beat Kansas City twice this year, and, in both games, Kansas City said woulda, coulda, shoulda.
Yeah.
Beat Kansas City twice. In their division, they've got Ben Roethlisberger retired.
Cleveland,
so Pittsburgh has a quarterback situation. Cleveland has a quarterback situation, kind of, sort of.
Right.
And then you got Baltimore, where Lamar Jackson doesn't have a contract.
Yeah, probably not going anywhere, but Baltimore's got some holes to plug. Yeah.
So they beat Tennessee.
Yeah.
They beat Kansas City.
I told you get used to them.
So
I told you that yesterday. Get used to them.
If they are able to pull this off,
but even if they're
not only a big upset in terms of Vegas. I don't even know what the line is.
4.5, I think it is.
Only 4.5, not that big.
Yeah.
It's an upset, but not huge.
Yeah.
But, watch out for a 25-year-old quarterback and a 38-year-old coach.
Well, even if they don't win it, they've already won, and I'll explain it in a second. But I got to go back to where you started with we've seen this movie before.
Yeah.
Your general point of this all-star team versus this, team of underdogs,
grinders.
Yeah, that's not what this
players.
is. But I don't see any similarities other than coming out of nowhere. I don't see any similarities between the 01 Patriots and the 2021 Bengals, because, and I think it was you who wrote about Bill Belichick and their organization going bargain shopping at, was it Filene's basement?
Filene's basement.
That's not what the Bengals did. Hilton, Awuzie, Hendrickson, Reeder, who I think they signed last year.
Yeah, Reeder got real money for Reeder.
Ogunjobi. I mean, like those guys.
Hendrickson was, I think that's real. I mean, that's like the biggest contract they've ever given out.
Yeah. So I mean, they signed big money guys, and while Brady, again in hindsight.
But some of them weren't, though. But some of the guys they signed were not big money guys.
I would say they were premier free agents. Yeah. I mean, like those were really good players. Whereas Mike Vrabel was a backup in Pittsburgh.
Yeah,
that they knew could be a full-time guy.
Look at that top 10, by the way, according to Pro Football Focus. Look at the top 10.
Yeah, it's littered with as it should be, littered with Rams. I mean,
8 out of 10. That's saying something, though, isn't it?
Well, I mean, even the fact that
Andrew Whitworth checking in at number 7.
It's surprising to me to see Joe Burrow number 2. Given that who's beneath him with Cooper Kupp and Jalen Ramsey, but
you know what? That's a good point. I was like, oh yeah, Joe Burrow's there, but wow, that's Joe a lot of love for Joe Burrow.
Complimentary. But my point about the Patriots is that was, again, Tom Brady was drafted late in hindsight, but Tom Brady wasn't this slam dunk superstar the way that Joe Burrow was coming out of LSU as a Heisman Trophy winner and record-setting national champion, who not only has turned around one organization, but apparently has left another in shambles because they didn't, tank to get him in Miami, okay? So, or couldn't trade up to get him, as the case were. So, I would not compare Burrow in year 2 to Brady in year 2. Brady in year 2 was out of nowhere, even though he was really good at Michigan. The Patriots had nobody like Jamar Chase. They had nobody like T. Higgins, for that matter.
Oh, I don't know about that. I don't know if they had nobody like T. Higgins. I'll give Troy Brown his necessary respect. Troy, for real?
Troy Brown, okay, I don't want to make this about the 2001 Patriots.
No, I'm just saying.
Troy Brown was a really good player and an amazing leader and a versatile player and a clutch player.
But who do you think T. Higgins? Do you think T. Higgins is? Who is T. Higgins to you? I mean, I guess maybe
6'4" versus 5'10".
No, I'm saying, but are you talking about size or production?
I'm thinking about talent. I'm talking about talent.
Wow.
Troy Brown was a really good player.
Ooh.
Troy Brown was a really good player, but I mean, like T. Higgins was like, it's the first pick of the second round, for crying out loud.
Yeah.
Okay, Tyler Boyd. I'll give you Tyler Boyd and Troy Brown. How's that? Does that make you feel better?
Wow.
Like I'm insulting your kids. I know you wrote a lot of books on these dudes, but damn.
No, I'm just surprised.
No, real
it's not personal.
It feels like it.
No, it's just,
like, oh my God, Troy Brown.
I'm just surprised. Guys who made a lot of plays in playoff games and Super Bowls.
You're 100% correct.
Right.
You're right.
So we'll see.
You're right. That's a great point.
Right.
Forget about the talent. Forget about the measurables. Troy Brown got championships.
Yeah,
Put some respect on his name.
Yeah, that's right. Thank you. Got it. Okay. Anyway, but the Bengals are a different kind of.
Yeah, Antoine Smith, Joe Mixon. Come on, man. Like, I mean, it's,
Now I'll give you that.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, again, much respect to the team that built the dynasty, that started it all, that started the trend of being introduced as a team. But there's a lot more talent on this Bengals team, and I know that word is tricky, but there's on both sides of the ball.
Well, I don't know about that. Now, see, I think I'll slow you down.
I'll take that. I will take that back. I will take that back. Ty Law, Lawyer Malloy.
Yeah, Hall of Fame.
Teddy Bruschi, Richard Seymour.
Willie McGinnis.
Yeah,
you got a lot of guys.
Okay, so we got all that out the way.
Yeah.
As far as the Bengals winning, even if they don't win, they have an incredible opportunity. It's funny, you have the Rams on one side trying to take this town back. Like, they move back here, but even they've talked about this opportunity that they have playing a Super Bowl in their stadium, if they were to win a Super Bowl, to grow their fan base locally and nationally in the second largest media market in the country. The Bengals have an opportunity to not only, I mean, they're skipping some serious steps. Not only have they put in the rearview mirror a 3-decade drought of winning a playoff game, or having never won a road playoff game, they have an opportunity to become relevant nationally in a way that I don't know that they've been since Ickey was doing the Ickey Shuffle.
Right.
They have an opportunity to be a destination franchise. We talked about the free agents that signed in large part because of Joe Burrow. I forget who it was. It might have been Mike Hilton. I remember listening to one of the telecasts. I was like, why'd you sign with the Bengals? Because they got a guy.
Yeah. Yeah. And
look who just said yesterday what quarterback he want to play with. It's Rob Gronkowski. Now, Rob Gronkowski is not the Rob Gronkowski that he was with the Patriots, but he still can be effective.
He's got that thing.
I mean, so
he's got it.
So if you add a Rob, and they don't have to go swinging for the fences, but when you got a Joe Burrow, and you could add a Rob Gronkowski to maybe complement a CJ Uzomah.
Yeah.
Okay, you add offensive linemen that are going to want to block for Joe Burrow. You add defensive players who say, you know what, man, I never thought about Cincinnati as a place I would want to live necessarily, but I can go there and I could jump on this Burrow bandwagon because that dude's going places, specifically going to Super Bowls. Now, Dan Marino will say, hey man, pump the brakes. I went year 2 and I never got back.
Yeah, it was hard to get back.
It is no guarantees, but the Bengals have that look about them where this is just the beginning. And that's not to say that they should be happy to be here, because to your point about this game, no way we should look at this as, you know, one team is destined to win and the other team is just a cute story. Now, the Bengals are fully capable of winning this game, and they know they're fully capable of winning this game. Not just with 9, but this playoff run shows they're more than just their fantasy football all-stars. They're more than just that quarterback, wide receivers, and that running back. Their defense has gotten them to this point. Because you don't come back from 21-3 at halftime with just Joe Burrow going crazy.
They've come back a couple of times.
The defense won that game.
That's right. They've come back a couple of times.
Held Tennessee in check on the road.
Against what I thought was the best team in the AFC, Kansas City. And, you know,
or in Tennessee before that.
And Tennessee. If you really talk about the Super Bowl and this matchup, it's changed. I mean, I don't look at any team one game away as saying, oh, they got no shot at it. Now, this is not the 1980s. This is not your father's and your great uncle's Super Bowl, where the AFC would come in there and it was like, you know, some scene from the Roman Coliseum. Oh, they're just going to devour. The NFC is going to devour this poor sacrificial team. These matchups are a lot more even now in the 21st century than they've ever been. It's like how many San Francisco over San Diego's do we have? How many San Francisco over Denver, Dallas over Buffalo the second time? Like, how many matchups do you have like that in the Super Bowl? Most of the time, these games are extremely competitive. I mean, last year's game was a blowout in quotes, but what was it, 23-9 or something like that? Kansas City and Tampa Bay?
No, I think so. Okay, I got you.
But you're not going to have a lot of blowouts. Yeah. I just don't think the league is designed that way in 2021, in 2022.
You know, my memory is terrible.
But you have,
it was 30.
I'd say you'd have in the last 15 or 20 Super Bowls.
No, it's
changed. Might have like two or three blowouts.
It's changed. No,
maybe
it's definitely changed.
And if you talk about the Patriots, there
was a time when the Super Bowl was very anticlimactic.
Yeah, I mean, there was a whole streak.
That's not the case now.
There was a streak that the NFC has. I think they had a 14 or 15 game winning streak.
31-9. Come on, man.
31-9. Okay,
Stop asking me these facts.
All right, 31-9 last year.
You got no research around.
There's your blowout.
Yeah.
But most of the time it's
most of the time, no, especially in the era of the Patriots.
Hey, thanks for watching Brother from Another on YouTube. Make sure you hit subscribe before you leave, and be sure to watch us 3 to 5 p.m. Eastern Time on Peacock. Appreciate you.